Look, I think the angel investment sector has never been really recognized as a sector by the budget. I think all the government policies have been almost anti it in the past. So I hope that the sector gets some due recognition as something which is incubating ideas and entrepreneurs, and hopefully some provisions for it to make it easy to invest. Today there is a lot of company law acts which apply to very tiny companies, and it makes it very hard to invest and on the companies. So some relaxation on very early stage companies, in terms of investing and company law. Like the reporting requirements, if a company is really tiny, like the two founders who just got started and raised an angel investment of, let's say, 20 lakh. Now this company has very few, doesn't have a real business at this point of time. So, like in many other countries, you don't have to make tax reporting for the first 3 years if you're very small. So simple things like that, just recognizing that very tiny companies really don't have the bandwidth to follow all the regulatory compliances. I think there's a lot of activity in the MSME sector, so that's a good thing. There's a lot more angel activity going on. I think my takeaways of the session is that everybody seems to be bullish on the angel investment. I think the institutional capital guys, the VC, PE guys, need to pick up more activity to keep the angels interested. As we're saying, somebody said 800% increase in angel. I don't think we've seen 800% increase in VC, PE. So that has to keep up to keep the whole sort of cycle flowing. But I think, there is a lot of optimism right now. There's some sectors like mobile and all where there's a lot of excitement. So I think we're generally in good shape for the next couple of years. I think the big reason is that there haven't been exits. There have been very few. If you look at the last 10 years, you look at Make My Trip, or you look at, maybe 3 or 4 companies, Just Dial, which have hit the public markets or gotten acquired. I think there are many more in the queue. So as some of these investors start seeing exits, I think they'll be more and more excited. And I think now with the public markets looking up, the PE guys are hoping to exit and make money, and it's the whole sort of waterfall that flows through once. It's like a whole house of cards where everybody follows suit. So I think there is good times ahead for investors, driven by the stock market, and I think it should pick up. But in between, it's quite a lull for the last 3 or 4 years, except for e-commerce. I think mobile is something which is very, very real. I'm personally very excited about it. I think there is, for the first time, a lot of Indians have real access to internet. So if I look at my own parents, they were never on internet, period, but now with mobile, they are on internet and they can do stuff. So I think this whole connectivity has opened up, and I think there will be a lot of investments and a lot of successes in the next few years driven by the mobile ecosystem, which just couldn't happen before. There was not enough internet, there's not enough connectivity in the hands of people.
But that's a tech startup we're talking about.
It's actually not just tech. If you look at any kind of service, right? To me, commerce is not really tech, right? It's just retail, right? Done online. So similarly, I think we will see, now we're seeing Paytms of the world, or so many other companies, which have a tech backend, but they're real businesses which are offering services or taxi booking or hotel booking and all kinds of stuff, which will all hopefully do very well. There will also be many services, I'm sure, which will get delivered on top of mobile, which will further fuel the system. But I do think mobile has to play a really important role in the Indian socio-economic development in the next few years. I think it's off to a great start from what I can tell. I think it's a fantastic team which is leading it, so I wish them all the best, and I'll be watching it with interest. I'm sure, I heard Anurag talk about, their focus on taking it outside Delhi and Mumbai, taking it deeper into the country. So I'm looking at them with optimism and support over the next few years. I think the big difference is always the team. I think every team has its own unique vision. I think this one is driven by the team that is driving it, and they have a certain thought process. Same goes for ET. So they're all different in their own ways. These are not major differences, but these are subtle differences which lead them to make very different decisions. So it's like that. I think the team itself differentiates it, which is running it.